Welcome to my session. Myself, Prof.C.Senthilkumar, belongs to Electronics and Communication Engineering Department in AVS Engineering College. Today, we are going to see a topic about microprocessor from the subject of microprocessor and microcontroller. Before getting to this topic, we are going to see what is microprocessor. So microprocessor is the brain of a system. So the combination of micro and processor. So micro in the sense the data become in micro level performance. So processor, it manipulate various kind of data. So definition of microprocessor. Okay, so definition in the sense we can say it's a programmable device that performs arithmetic and logical operation. Whenever the device going to do these kind of things, we can say it's a microprocessor system. Okay, so when we can say as a device microprocessor, so three things they are going to satisfy. One is fetch, another one is decode, and third one is execute. Fetch is nothing but we are going to take or we are going to bring the data. After taking the data, we are going to do some performance. This is nothing but a decoder operation. Then finally we are going to do execution. So whenever the device is satisfying these three functions, the device become a microprocessor. So these are the applications in nowadays. So calculator, military application, navy oriented application, microprocessor learning. So we have lot of applications are available in microprocessor. So now we are going to see about history of microprocessor. History of microprocessor, how the generation is developed in various aspects. So we are going to consider a few aspects. The first one is processor based, then second one is clock speed, then third one is storage based. So these are all the various kind of process we are going to look into. First one is socket oriented processor, second one is pinless processor, third one is slot based processors. So development of microprocessor in various years we have a lot of development. Okay, so in 1979 8086 processors obtained. So in 1982 286 likewise. So 386 486. So 80 here is a common term. Okay, so 86 286 386 these are all the development of in various aspects. So first development in the sense bit oriented development. Okay, 8 bit 16 bit 32 bit 64 bit likewise. So these are all the a lot of processor, Pentium, Pentium Pro, Pentium MX, Pentium 2. In 2 we have a lot of varieties is available, Celeron, Xeon, then Pentium 3. So likewise we have a lot of different kind of processors available. So as I told earlier, so few factors is deciding factor, the generation. The first one is bit factor, second one is speed factor. Okay, so 8 bit, so operating under the speed of 2 megahertz. Okay, so 16 bit, so 8086, so 4.5 to 10 megahertz. So again, so few difference between 8086, 808. So the only thing is bit oriented, at the same time clock frequency oriented. Okay, so the operating speed is 4.5 to 10 megahertz. So likewise 286, 386, 486. So as I told earlier, in various years we obtained a Pentium Pro, Pentium Celeron, Pentium Xeon, so Pentium 4. So each and every processor having a various kind of bits at the same time speed of the process is also varying. So first we are going to see about Intel 4004. So this was introduced in 1971. So operating speed is 740 kilohertz. So totally it is having 2000 transistors. Next, Intel 4004, it was introduced in 1971. It is a 4-bit microprocessor. So now we are going to look about 8-bit microprocessor. 8-bit microprocessor was introduced in 1972. The bit is 8. Okay, so then the operating clock frequency is 500 kilohertz. It has more than 50,000 transistors or fetched into the chip. Then Intel 8080, it was introduced in 1974. It is an 8-bit processor. Operating speed is 2 megahertz, and then it has 6000 transistors available. Then 8085, these are all the basic transistor for studying purpose. This is the 8-bit processor. It was introduced in 1976. It has a 8-bit, already I told, and then operating clock speed is 3 megahertz. Okay, it has a 16-bit address bus. Okay, so we'll see later what is address bus, data bus, and then remaining everything. Okay, it has a 6500 transistors available. So 16-bit processor. So we can say 8086 processor. Okay, so it was introduced in 1978. It has 16-bit, and also the clock frequency, the clock speed is 4.77 megahertz. It has various clock frequencies available. The second thing is 8 megahertz, and then third thing is 10 megahertz. It has 16-bit data bus, and it also have 29,000 transistors fetched and joined together. So it maximum it has performed 2.5 million instructions per second. Next. Then Intel 8088. It is also a 16-bit processor. It was introduced in 1979. It is coming under 8086 series. So 186, 386 and 188. So as I told you earlier, 80 is a common word. 186, 286, 386. These are varying a different kind of bit processor. So Intel, so a 286. So 80 is a common, 286. So it is also a 16-bit, was introduced in 1982. It has clock speed up to 8 megahertz. Now we are going to see about a 32-bit processor. So it is also introduced in 1986, and it has a first 32-bit microprocessor. It is having compared to previous 16-bit, 8-bit, it has more number of operating clock speed, more number of storage, and more number of address base, and more number of data bus. Then 486, it was introduced in 1989. It has 1.2 million transistor. It is also having a 32-bit processor. Intel Pentium. So these are all the various kind of operations and various kind of processor available in microprocessor. So Intel Pentium Pro and 9095 32-bit, it has a 21 million transistor capacity. The cache memory is 8 KB for instruction and 8 KB for data performance. Intel Pentium 2, it was introduced in 1997, and it has a 32-bit capacity, and it operating clock speed is 500 megahertz up to. So Intel Pentium Xeon in 1998 it was introduced, and it was also have a 32-bit microprocessor. Pentium 3 and 1999 it was introduced, and it is also having a 32-bit microprocessor. The operating frequency from 500 megahertz to 1.4 gigahertz. It is the updated and latest version from megahertz to gigahertz processor traveled. And Pentium 4, it was introduced in 2000, year of 2000. It has a 32-bit microprocessor. The operating frequency is few gigahertz, 1.3 to 3.8 gigahertz. It has 42 millions of transistors joined together. And Intel dual core, the first time in history they are introduced in dual core processor, that was introduced by Intel company in 2006. It is also having 32-bit, not only 32-bit, from 32-bit to a 64-bit microprocessor. The figure shows the first dual core operated machine. So first dual core, first CPU and then second CPU. So there are two cores chips are available joined together and a common bus interface unit. So next we are going to see about a 64-bit microprocessor. So I shows a few samples for a 64-bit microprocessor. The name is Intel Core, and then Core i3 and Core i5, Core i7. Yes, So now we are getting to the basic terms. So before enter into microprocessor, we want to know for a few terminology. The first terminology is a bit. So it's a kind of binary information. So maximum is zeros and ones. Then next one is a nipple. One nipple which is equal to 4 bit. It is representing the capacity of the particular chip level. So 1 byte is 8 bit, one word is 16 bit, and double word is 32 bit. So then next one is data. So data, where we are going to get the information, what kind of data we are going to be manipulated. So likewise, so either it become a binary data or code operated data. And the next one is address. We have a unique address. So then only we can do a task in particular places. The next one is clock. So whenever data travel from one place to another place, we need this support. Okay, so for that purpose we are using is clock, and memory represented is in terms of 2 power n. Here n is nothing but number of address lines. Bus concept. We have a few varieties of buses are available. The first one is data bus, second one is address bus, third one is control bus. Data bus, it is nothing but it is having all kind of information as available in a data bus. And then address bus, so where we are going to store the information. So for the information, that address is available in address bus. And then control bus, the task is going to be controlled by the directions of few instructions. So we at the time we are going to be use a few lines. The name of the lines is read lines, write lines. From this help of these two lines only, we are going to be do all kind of functions in the processors. So these are the basic system, basic concepts of microprocessor. It has 3 subdivisions and then 3 topics as available. The first one is input device, second one is central processing unit, and third one is output device. So input device is nothing but on what basis we are going to give input to the system. Okay, so we need external support. For basic example, nowadays we are using a lot of input devices. A few more examples. As we know, the main example is keyboard and mouse. Okay, then second one is a central processing unit. It was bisector, it is trisector into 3 varieties. So first one is control system, second one is arithmetic logic unit, third one is primary storage unit. Control system, for internal and external operations, I want to do all kind of functions in a register. For that purpose, I need control unit. Then second one is arithmetic logic unit. It performs logical oriented and arithmetic oriented operations. So third one is primary storage unit. After the performance of all kind of tasks, I want to store or I want to dump into one place. That is called as a primary storage unit. Finally, after the manipulations are over, I am going to see the data by the help of output device. Before conclude this topic, I want to say additional storage device is nothing but a secondary storage device. Okay, secondary storage devices, we are using a more number of also we are using more number of data we are going to be add in secondary storage device. So basic example, a few more examples. Example for secondary storage devices: disk, optical disk, and then tapes, magnetic tapes. These are all the best example for secondary storage devices. So introductions about 8086 microprocessor. So as I told here, it was introduced in 1978 along with a 16-bit processor. It has a 16-bit data bus. Here D is representing data bus from 0 to 15. Totally it has a 16-bit data bus. And then here it is having 20-bit address bus. A is representing address bus. I said 20-bit, so A0 to A19. So totally we have a 20-bit. The capacity is 1 MB. Then we are going to be do address and data bus complex defined, and then it can support up to 64 input and output parts. Thank you. I hope the session will be useful to you. Thank you all.